What's happening, guys? I thought I would talk about trust. Another question I get asked quite a lot. How do you know who you can trust in the world? Very, very complicated issue and difficult one to think about, especially since most of your friends that you've probably met through school and you have history together and know them and all that sort of stuff. But it's more about building new relationships, building new bonds, not with females, but just in general with business partners and friends that are going to support you in times of need. So the way I look at this, I have a pretty crazy life over the last 15 years or whatever you want to call it. So I've met lots of interesting people. I've been done over on business deals. I've felt every end of this and every edge of this. So I feel like I have a pretty good grasp over the topic and how I feel. And I'll try and talk about it in two different ways. I'm talking about friends. I'll use women as an example. I'll use money as an example. So what the description I use is you need to find people that have both felt glory and people that have felt suffering. They're the people that I think are most trustworthy. And how I explain that is, if you've got a friend, we'll talk about money because money is an easy one. If you've got a friend that's wealthy or comes from wealth and is used to having money, and he's involved in all of your business and all that sort of stuff, and then he goes through a hard time, and all of a sudden he doesn't have the wealth that he is used to, but he's never not had it before. So he goes into a place of suffering that he's never been in before. That sort of individual more than likely will do anything he can to stay in the phase of glory, to stay up. If he's up financially his whole life, and then the fear that he's going to feel when he's plummeting and going down because he's never been there before, that's going to give him desperation. That's going to make him think, I can't handle this, I need something. And if there's some deal you're involved with or something that you're involved with, it could be very likely that he will snake you for that money. And I believe that's very similar when it comes to females. We'll talk about it the other way around now with women. If you have a friend who sucks with women, has never had an attractive girlfriend, maybe has never had a girlfriend, any sniff of a female, he will take it because he's not used to. If you've got a friend that's balling, gets women every weekend, he has no thirst, or is the word that you like to use for females. He has no thirst. So you have nothing, there's no worry, in that regard. So leaving your wife or your girlfriend with that individual, you're not even going to think about it. It's not even going to be a problem. And I know this is something that a lot of people come across. Like they have friends. I don't have friends like this, but they have friends that even they leave the room and they chat up their girlfriend. They don't even realize it, but that's what the guy's doing. And I've had a few friends come to me with this problem. So I think it's very common. That is because that guy is desperate, has thirst, has never felt it. But if you have a friend who's always surrounded by beautiful women, always has opportunity to be with them, there's less of a chance that he's going to do that. But in the same sense, if he's never been down, and he's always been up, as he starts going down, he might lash out. Whereas I feel if you've got somebody, they're very hard to find, these people. That's why trust is such a, it's brought up a lot and people speak about it. You need to have men that have experienced failure and experienced success. If you only have successful people around you that have or only ever had successful lives, as soon as things get hard, they can turn on you. And if you've only had people that have had failure and struggle, I wouldn't want to be around those people anyway, but if that is the type, they will utilize you to get up. So they will jump above you. And this obviously comes into, again, you've got ranges. What I want to say is you're used to having 6-figure income, but your friend's got multiple 7-figure income, it still applies. Like it's going to be depending on the levels that you're at, and it changes level by level by level, which is another reason why it becomes difficult. That's another reason why as you go through the journey of life, it's hard to find people that you trust, because if you're excelling and moving up, you're going to then be going from the 6 to the 7 figure brackets. And then you don't know, your friends may be still in the 5, 6 figures. And that's when it changes. So you need to find people within your bracket. That's what I'm trying to say. You need to find men that are like you. This isn't the only thing that, like, I'm sure in the comments people will say, like, oh, that's not what trust is about. But it's one of the things that I have found most viable, is understanding people that have both felt glory and both felt suffering, or both felt success and both felt failure. They're the ones that I can trust the most. For me, example, coming from sleeping on the floor to my lifestyle now, I will happily sleep on the floor again. No problem. I've got no issue with it. I know I can get through it. I know I'm tough enough. I know I will survive it. I know I will thrive in it and get back to where I need to be. But if someone has never gone through that before, when that threat comes along, they are likely to try and find the easy way out. That's what most distrust. I mean, unless the person's just untrustworthy. And there's ways you can spot untrustworthy people, but if the person's untrustworthy in general and rotten, then fine. But I'm even talking about friends that you probably consider to be good friends. This is what you see over long periods of friendship. And it normally happens when people jump through the barriers, like I said, from the 5 to the 6 to the 7 figure kind of brackets. That's when it can be hard to trust. And you start trusting people based on having, what's the phrase, like memories with that person or experiences with that person. Oh, remember when we did this? And that those are great as well. People that you've known for a long time and you understand their character. But I just think finding people that have been through glory and been through suffering, they're the best people in general to have around you, because a lot of other people, they don't have then again, we talk about only successful people or people that come from money or people that have family money. They don't have the same appreciation for the things that you have to work so hard for. So that friendship as well can be empty because they're just used to having these things. So I feel like I'm talking about trust, but in general, friendship and men in general, it's much better to associate and find men that have been through hardship, been through suffering, and found glory, and even repeated that process. That's like the one for me that really solidifies them as somebody that I want to be around. I want someone that started at the bottom, got to the top, gone back to the bottom, and then found the way to get back to the top again, or is on the way, is moving up to go back to the top. They're the sort of people that I want to be around. They're the sort of people that I would trust the most personally, because I feel like they've had such a wide bandwidth of experience, and they're not going to risk their honor and their dignity over small things that they understand don't mean much. And what I mean by that, again, is someone who's had money. Obviously, money's super, super important. But if you've never had it, you don't actually understand what it brings you and what it gives you. You have an imagination. It's fake. You're in your mind. The reality when you start making money and having money compared to what you believe it to be are two very, very different things. So the fact that it's unknown makes it more appealing. But if you've had it and you know what it's like, those things are not worth snaking people over or like betraying people over or breaking people's trust. It's not worth it. And again, you could have the same discussion with women. If you've been with beautiful women, stealing your mate's girl is not worth it, because going against your brother for females is no good. It's pointless. It's a stupid idea. But people that haven't had that female companionship, they'll go the other way with it. So yeah, for me, I only believe trusting people that have been at the top and been at the bottom and got back to the top again is the ultimate guy that you can find and you can trust. And like I said, they're very, very hard to find. And if you've had long relationships with people, I think what you will find, like from school and all that sort of stuff, I think your friendship will last and will not be tested as long as you guys stay in the same place, the same bracket, the same situation, the same financial bracket, the same romantic bracket, the same physical bracket. If you stay there and you're equals, then there's no threat from that person. But you'd be surprised how many people turn on you or talk badly about you when you start becoming successful, because they see all the failures they have made in you. So they don't like that. They like to try and bring people down. You hear about that. There's the bucket and the frog, or the frogs analogy that you always see, like if you put a load of frogs in a bucket, and that you've got a bunch of frogs, and if they all work together, they could get out of the bucket. And if the one frog gets close to getting out, all the other frogs pull them back down. It's like, that's kind of what happens in life with you and your friends and your old school friends. If you start becoming successful, they want to try and chop you down, and they want to try because they're feeling inferior in their own minds. It's just a self-reflection of themselves. So again, you may feel like you trust your buddy now, but if he's never had success and you start becoming successful, it's a good test for that person. So that's why I like to try and find people that have felt glory and felt suffering and then felt glory again. Hopefully this helps. Hopefully it's an interesting point of view that you've not really considered before. Write in the comments below your thoughts. I'm sure there'll be a lot on this video because it's quite a bit of a strange concept, an ideology, but I truly believe in it. And I think the more people you can find that have been tested and failed that test and then passed it again later in life, they are much, much more trustworthy individuals. I'll be dropping content every week. I drop a podcast every week, and I'm doing a lot of lives as well on YouTube. So hit that subscribe button. Make sure you know when the content's coming out, and I will see you soon.